Householder.
Here.
McCullough.
Here.
Mr. Clark.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion for the approval or correction of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 19th and special meeting on June 4th.
Householder.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Corrections? If not, vote.
Mr. Brim.
Yes.
Mr. Householder.
Yes.
Mr. McCullough.
Yes.
Mrs. Watkins.
Yes.
Yes.
Ryan, you're on the agenda.
Clock's ticking.
Are you finished yet?
You got 3 minutes, 30 minutes,
Yeah, 30 seconds.
300 minutes. You're really good at navigating.
Okay. Want to show off some of the new designs for the website and show some of the workflow on how we're going to work on the website. Part of our problem with the website is getting content from people. We want to make that as easy as possible, and also for them to easily put the information on the pages it needs to be on. So I thought I'd show a bad website. This is Yale's art school. They just let anybody edit it, and it's a mess. I mean, it is a literal mess. I have no idea how you find anything on that site. As we were looking at ours, we were trying to go for a nice, clean look. This is I'll show a couple examples of 2 different schools. We have a habit, you ask anybody, well, where is football on the website? And they will have 3 different ways of getting there. It is amazing how people have different ideas in their head on where things should be on the website. So we're trying to put the navigation where people can find the information they want as quickly as possible without it being hidden. It's funny, some of the questions I get, well, I can't find this. Well, it's right here. And they're like, oh, I never thought of looking there. So looking at some of these other websites, this one has 3 columns. It's kind of busy. When you scroll down through there, we wanted to make it a little bit cleaner than that. Hilliard just redid theirs, and they're using the same software that we're using, WordPress. It's nice and clean. There's only this navigation bar with the links to everything, but we also have the tabs up here for the different links for just those people. 2 columns, and they have it looks very nice and clean. So we're trying to come up with a nice, clean look. So we have, this is in progress. We'll probably make the picture a little bit smaller and put something else better than the quote right there. But right now it's a good
The quote?
placement. We might do that a little
The
differently.
vision.
Yes, sorry. Yes, the vision. It takes up a lot of space for something that we might rearrange it. But we put all the information that people need are in those tabs. So if you're a parent, you go to the For Parents tab, and you can find the forms, you get to the progress book for parents, the online cafeteria payments, how you get text alerts, and we'll add a few more things onto that one. If you're students, you can get to all of your resources off the students. We have this now on ours, but it's a smaller font, and there's a lot more busyness on the screen. The For Staff pretty much duplicates under the For Students. I don't like duplicating links to the same resource, but in this case, it was necessary evil. We will have our schools on here, and let's look at, I've got to totally redo this now because of Kenton Elementary School instead of all the districts. So when I started working on this, actually I started with SB, and then realized I didn't have the Live Touch CD with SB staff pictures on it, so I couldn't really do that. That's why the SB link's there. So we'll look at Hardin Central because I did have that one. So we're hoping, not hoping, we will have each building will have a page like this. that has the teachers and under the different grade levels. At the high school, it'll probably be grade level and department. Mr. Funkhauser and I have been battling this for years, trying to figure out how we can automate this, and basically, it's a lost cause. We're going to have to manually keep this up to date. Because it was just, we were trying to think of different ways of doing it, and there was no good way of doing it. So, in the new building, we'll have Kenton Elementary School, and you'll have all the first grade teachers, and you can click on them, and it'll go to their information and everything. And the middle school and high school will be the same way. I just read this past week a blog post from a parent. It was a teacher parent who, in his children's district, was all frustrated because they couldn't find their students' teacher's email address because it wasn't on their website. So hopefully this will make that a little bit easier, because if the student doesn't remember their teacher's name, hopefully they can identify the picture of their teacher. That was a joke. You guys are, come on, lighten up a little bit. We have links to the athletics, which is an entirely different website, and each school has their own website or will have it. So Mr. Funkhauser has been doing a redesign of the Kenton High School webpage. We have it on there. You can see all the nice little piece of information. Now, we have it set up so when somebody adds something to the high school webpage, if they wanted to go to the main district webpage, there's just a little checkbox that says front page. And it'll automatically go to our main page. So as they post things on the high school website, the middle school website, the elementary school website, not everything needs to go to the front page. But sometimes things need to go to the front page. And if you look on this front page here, you'll see middle school, when they posted their newsletter, Ms. Smythe checked the front page, and it automatically shows up on our main page without them doing anything special. We are also, the main page is now set up so it automatically feeds into Kenton City Schools Facebook page and their Twitter account. You just check the little box and it feeds to both those places. The link on those then directs them back to the website. So we try to keep as much as possible on our website and not on those other services, but people like to follow so they can see, okay, the agenda was posted. I can click on that and they'll go to our website so they can look at it. Through different conferences, they've talked about allowing comments on websites, and they really kind of frown upon it. So like the Facebook page, there's no way to turn off comments on the Facebook page. But I grabbed the 1,000 most common words used in the English language and put that in the banned word list, so any comment that has those words in it won't put the comment in there. So it's a nice little hack. Somebody could just use really big words and get around that hack, and now that everybody knows about it because I'm broadcasting it, I'll be impressed if they do it. But we'd like them to comment. If they're going to comment, comments are turned on. What?
They just eliminate all the spaces.
Space wasn't a thing. But Kenton's in that, schools. I should put all of the teacher names, all the administration names, so they can't complain about a particular person. They can just say this. Well, they can't say principal. They can't say this because those two would be caught. So they'd have to come up with a different word for principal. And it's going to be very big. So it was a nice little. But we want them to come back to our website instead of on the other. Teachers can have their own websites. They can have as many as they want. I recommend when I work with them, just work on one. Their website does the same thing as the building websites do, except theirs does it to their building. So as the teacher's working on their website, if there's something that they want to show up on the building website, they check the little box that says front page, and it'll put their article on the front page of their building. So they don't have to do anything special. We don't have to do anything special. It just works. And it goes onto the front page for each building. We have a set of quick links right here so they can jump to we had just had a meeting on trying to figure out the most important links that everybody wants to get to without getting that too cluttered. And I think we have a really nice compromise. When we were working on it, I just liked the clean. That logo at the top is not there. I am not an artist. That was just something I threw together, so I had something there. But I need to talk to Mr. Eystone at the high school and maybe work on something a little bit better for up there and work on something better for that middle area. The other nice part of this website, when I put it over to the main page to replace our current one, is it's totally responsive, which is a web term for it'll reformat itself depending if you're looking at it from a computer, tablet, or phone. So we automatically have a mobile website without doing anything extra. This will automatically format it so people can use the website from their phone, because a lot of people, that's what they use now for internet access, is their phone. And so that way they can look at calendars, they can do all that stuff from their phone. And then we get it with WordPress and the theme we're using, we get all that for free. We don't have to do anything extra work. Okay, how's that?
When do you go live?
I've got to get all the new elementary school stuff in there first. So
when do
hopefully,
you go live?
hopefully,
September was
Yeah.
the goal
Yeah.
before the new elementary opens. Was
Okay.
So-
the goal. And
I-
just so everyone knows, there's been a district website committee, not very active last year, but more active this year, that has been meeting and going through websites and giving input. And so a big thanks to that committee for giving the input and for helping. And so things like job vacancies, forms that parents right now have to print, but eventually we'll hopefully be able to type online that will be live, that we can extract that data, and so that you're not even submitting forms, that all that data can be extracted so that, you know, people aren't having to retype things and redo things. Our whole goal is to be more efficient. And so those are all pieces that we want to do, and we want to just make this very user-friendly, and we want to be have a better tool for our community to see what we're doing and to also just be more efficient in our practices. And so that was the whole goal of the website committee. So this has been a long process, and I know Ryan and Joe have done a lot of work.
yeah. And Mrs. Benzarski really got us. Well, I think we have almost all the forms online now. That was a big thing this
do.
year.
Even on our current one, I think
Yeah,
that if
yes.
you go to our current site, you can see all the forms and you have access to them.
Yeah, so they
on this
can
one.
get those forms. And another piece of the puzzle is we're assigning people to be in charge of content. It's really hard for myself or Mr. Funkhauser to get the content from the principals and the teachers that we need. So we're trying to get some people in charge. Well, take some pictures. It's really, I was working with one teacher in one of the elementaries, and I was really, well, they had an event coming up. Well, take some pictures, put it up on your website. And that was, they were like, well, it's not that big a deal. And I said, yes, it is. The parents want to see what's going on in your classroom. When I was working with the middle school teachers, I really hitting the point home. Your parents don't know how you teach in your classroom. Your parents assume that their child is being taught the exact same way that they were taught 20 years ago. And that's not the point. Our teaching is totally different. So I'm trying to get those teachers to realize, yes, something happens every day in your building that you should be proud of, that you should let us know about.
So we're kind of working on this in a couple different tiers for communication. So like Ryan said, there's a teacher at each building that will be responsible for helping collect content and help motivating teachers to share content. And then there's an administrator at each building that's responsible to oversee that it's getting done as well. And then with our curriculum setup next year, we just had a meeting last week, and there was some talk about every month trying to post curriculum, what is going on in the classroom. So taking a month look and focusing on some of the instructional pieces so that parents can actually see what's going on in the classroom and highlighting these are some special things. This is what math looked like this week at the middle school, and this is what special reading strategies that we did to just give some insight to what we're doing at Kenton City Schools, which I thought was a really neat piece that we might be able to add as well.
And see, here's an example of an activity that happened out at Westview. And I said, take some pictures, put them up. And that way it just, and especially at the younger age, grandparents just love that stuff. They want to see what their grandchildren are doing.
It only gets people to the website if new content is being
Yeah.
posted. So those are some of the goals of the committee.
Any questions?
Thanks, Ryan.
Is that quick enough for you?
You ran over just a little bit.
Nah.
Okay, we're now to the public participation section of the agenda. We have Jason Fleming, Garmin Miller.
I've been waiting for that for
Yeah.
a year now.
So what are you gonna get? That's what.
Is that the only, well, I'm glad I came today. Just real quick, I don't have an update for y'all. If you notice that, I do have some pictures up here from what's going on. If you have questions, once I get done going through about the pictures, just let me know. Ryan somewhat showed me how to stop this thing and make it work. We'll try it. Reason you're not getting an update as far as on paper today is we're getting to that point where there's not a whole lot of activity as far as a whole bunch. I mean, we have finishes going on in particular in units A and B. They're pretty much done in those two units as far as that goes at your first and second grade and your kindergarten and pre-kindergarten areas. They have some of the smart boards to put up yet in the kindergarten, pre-kindergarten area, and they have pretty much everything done in Unit A. They have some glazing to put in on the windows for the classroom doors and glass, for the window or doors. And then they have just a few cleanup, touch-up items. Supposed to start punch list in those two areas on Monday, the 23rd.
Why don't you explain a punch list for?
Punch list, basically what I'll go through is I'll go through and check every single room from ceiling to walls to floor to casework for your cabinetry. Go completely through all that. Make sure it's not damaged, or if there's a touch-up paint need to be done, I'll go through and mark all that down. If ceiling tiles have been damaged during installation, I'll mark all that down. Just quality issues, more or less anything, as far as that goes. Good enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm so used to doing it.
Just for people listening or whatever.
Fair enough. So that's where you're at in A and B on the interior. G and F, which is your third and fourth grade, fifth and sixth grade. Those two, they're starting to put grid in and do your rubber flooring for the classrooms. They will be starting carpet here pretty soon as far as that goes in the ELA extended learning areas. And then smart boards and all your finishes will follow as far as that goes too. Probably, I would say within the next 2 weeks, they should be ready for punch list on that end of the building. And then your common areas, your CD and E, just finally doing the terrazzo flooring in the cafeteria. That's the picture behind me with all the red stripes in it. That's only partly done, just there. But they're doing that, and then they're finishing up some of the kitchen equipment stuff, finalizing the plumbing and the electrical work in there, and pretty much just doing finishes. And when you go outside, kind of the same deal. Before we go outside in the gymnasium, they started the wood flooring today. They have the subfloor started to go down. Gym equipment's up, such as your basketball hoops and your divider curtain that's been installed. And that's where they're at on that. Okay, now go outside. As far as the roof siding stuff goes, they're doing their trim work, and then they're going to start their contractor's punch list on that area as well. And for you at the board, as far as you guys go, July 1st, I found out we will be doing the DMI, which is your roof manufacturer. He'll be doing this final audit that day. So we'll be here to do our punch list on top of that with their audit on the roof and the siding, because they'll do both of those. Finalizing some of the window caulking and insulation along units A and B on the exterior. They have all the playground concrete poured. They are supposed to have the playground installers coming. It's supposed to be today. I don't think they made it today, so probably tomorrow or sometime soon to start that work on that. They had the access drive almost complete as far as that goes. They were finishing up some stone today. And other than that, I think that's all. The landscaper, he's supposed to be on site starting tomorrow to do some seeding and stuff. I obviously going to be dependent upon rain, whether we get that or not, but he's supposed to start that. They did start taking down the construction fence today as well, so it doesn't mean the site's open to everybody. It just means they needed to get it down so they could do their landscaping. That's pretty much your update for this month. And I think by next month, what we'll be doing is strictly just punch list. I don't know when's the next board meeting, middle of July. So that may be just strictly punch list stuff from that point on. It should be pretty darn close to, if not finished by then.
Great. Now, do they have the air conditioning running? at
Oh,
this
sorry,
point?
thank you. Yes, the air conditioning is up and running. I believe it's up and running everywhere but Unit F. That felt a little warm yet in there today, and they were doing some final piping in there. So they have it up and running everywhere, which is good for your installation of your wood flooring in
Right.
particular. I mean, that has relative humidity requirements they have to maintain, so they'll be doing that.
They were also sanding the floor, big sand across before they were putting the floor tile down, so they couldn't run the air conditioner with that in there. They had the windows open in that section.
dust and stuff.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Oh,
It would suck it in, it would suck it into
No.
the system.
Back, back.
How thick is the gym floor?
The gym floor, the wood itself, I believe, the floor you'll see is 3/4 of an inch, and then you have two subfloors that I think are, I'm going to say 3/8 of an inch subfloor apiece, so, you know,
So 3/4 of an inch. How much do we take off the floor when we sand it, when we refinish it, Mark?
I don't remember.
I mean, so
On
how
high school,
long-
you mean?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know, it's been sanded several times, so that was the problem, that they probably weren't gonna be able to do it again, remember?
yeah. that's-
Right, and so that, my question was, about how many times are we gonna get to sand this floor before we get too thin, and how thin is too thin? I don't
Well, if you
expect you to
start
answer
seeing
that.
the nail heads,
Yeah.
you need to start looking at replacing the floor, and I think it depends on who you have to do the floor in all seriousness, because some guys will go in there and they'll get pretty aggressive with their sanding right away, and there's other guys that will just do it real smooth and finish. So, I mean, if you guys ever do look into that, that's definitely something you need to question them about. What's your process? Are you using a 60 grit sander, or are you going in there with a couple 120 grits and pulling it that way? Because you get a little better life out of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, years down the road, when that time comes, it'll definitely.
Okay.
So you're surprised I was able to answer that.
Very good.
I'm not saying it's right, that's just an answer.
But you were confident.
Yes, definitely.
You made that well, made it up well on your feet.
I'm on the fly.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty much the standard as far as that goes. We've replaced a lot of floors, so.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, thank you.
Any other public participation? Steve?
Yeah, I'm Steve Levy. I'm here to commend the school board for the good job that they've done. And I want to thank you guys from the taxpayers for the 1% income tax you give back. And hopefully, if you guys need help again, they'll jump back in and help you. And I think you guys need to be commended.
Well, thank you.
And maybe this will bring some of these other schools, bring attention to them. If they're getting so much money from the state, they can give back to the taxpayers like you guys have done. So again, I'd like to thank you and commend you for the jobs you guys done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, treasurer reports of treasurer. Approve the following May 31st, 2014 reports: cash position, check register, receipt ledger, investment report, and budget versus actual.
Graham?
Second. McCullough. Any discussion?
I just wanted to give a short update as far as on the expenditure side, just to let you know, if you look at line 001800, which is other, we have only paid 2/4 of our amount due to Blaze County. They have not billed us third quarter or fourth quarter.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of give you a heads up that, that's still outstanding there. The amount that would actually run into this line item is approximately 280,000.
I just thought we were doing pretty good there.
that we still owe. And we also owe for the physical therapist, but that comes out of the 400 line purchase service. So,
Have you had any contact with them? Why
yes,
they-
I have, and I asked her, are you going to be billing us before the end of the year? And
Right.
the bill is supposed to come this week for both quarters.
Okay. The bill's in the mail.
Well, it's probably
bill's
in the
in the mail.
email. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm surprised that they,
Right, yeah. that's
that they
good.
can, cash flow that.
Right. Okay. Any other questions for Tracy? No, we can vote.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Superintendent report.
Just to confirm some dates again for August, just with regard to the new building. Our dedication is still set for August 9th. We're hoping to begin at 9:00 a.m. at the site. Our tentative move dates, depending on whether it takes 2 or 3 days, just so that everyone is aware. Originally, we had hoped to use the National Guard for the move. Unfortunately, they have commitments that weekend and are unable to help, so we're right now in the process of getting some quotes with moving companies for what that would be, and so we're looking to maybe move that week instead of that weekend. So we'll either move the 13th, 14th, and 15th, or the 14th and 15th that week, just depending on whether it takes 2 or 3 days. So those are the tentative move dates for the buildings, and then the open houses for students and parents would be the week of August 25th, and we'll get those dates out as soon as we can. We're currently working with Versatran to get our bus routing done for the district, and so that is taking a little bit longer than we hoped. So as soon as we can get those bus routes finalized, we will get those class lists, supply lists, and the bus stops out to parents, because we know that a lot were used to getting that the last day of school, and they just weren't ready to go out this year. So as soon as we can get those available and out to parents, we'll get that out to them. And I think that that's all that I have right now.
Thank you. Committee reports, Finance Committee?
In the Finance Committee, we talked about our workers' comp and unemployment provider kind of person that we work with, which has been Shakely in the past, and I think down further in the agenda, you'll see that we're recommending them to work with them, continue our work with them. Our flex spending account, we had 35,000 moved to the account as it was collected back through the flex spending program. So with the flex spending program, not 100% of it was used, so some of that money then ended up being returned, and then that's what that is. We have a OFCC audit, and that audit is on the building and the monies, and so that's just another step in the progression of building the building, and so that audit is coming up. And then the other thing that we had was Veritime, and how do you say that? ASOP. And so that is it's to streamline our clocking in and clocking out. What we do now is we have time cards, and then all that is manually entered. And so as Jennifer has noted, one of our big pushes is efficiency. And so this is a program that would allow that to tie into our payroll system, so then it's all automated, as most companies in even the late 20th century did it. Not sure why we couldn't do that in the school system, but we're moving there now. We're finally getting to it. So that was that's the thing going on. And then of course we talked about computers in the bus garage. We talked about the programs for those, and how we're going to try to streamline the inventory that we have there, so that we understand what it is that we have and what we need, get a little better there. And then the last thing that we talked about was our insurance and working with the consortium on our health insurance. and what those rates look like, and what we can do to try to influence our rate. What kind of power do we have there? And so that's in its infancy of discussion, but that's one of the things that the Finance Committee has got on its plate.
Questions or comments? Facilities Committee?
We didn't have an official meeting, but we've been meeting every Monday as it is, the new building, so. The only thing that really came out besides the new building, which is time consuming, and it seems like every hour of the day some days, but there's some concrete work around the high school that is on the agenda tonight. We talked about that earlier, and it's on the agenda, so I'm sure you guys looked at that. The other thing is that on that access road lane, or whatever we're gonna call it, I was out there Saturday, and I was traveling 25 mile an hour down that drive, and a couple of neighbors thought that was way too fast. So if anybody gets on that to look at that or drive that, we need to make sure that keep that speed down below 25, probably 20 or less, so.
Okay.
That's about the only thing. Russ, you think of anything else?
No, we were trying to get out to the middle school to check on those leaks, but we never made it out, unfortunately. Should have, with all the rain we've had, it would have shown.
Rain will be back.
Well, yeah, it'll be back, so we'll get out there.
And they're continuing with light replacements in the middle high schools.
Right.
Oh, great.
They're all busy. Everybody's busy.
Where are they at right now with one light replacement? You know, percentage-wise, how far in the project they are?
I know they're working on them, I don't know exactly.
They're pretty efficient, so they get quite a few a day done.
We originally looked at that as a 3-year program, and we did it last year, so this would be another third of it or more. I think they had a few more pieces that they could have done more last year, so I think they ordered more material this year, so. So we might get ahead of that schedule.
It's coming.
Certainly worthwhile doing.
Yeah,
Pretty quick payback.
it's better lighting and it's more efficient, so
Exactly.
less expense.
Exactly.
We still get a little bit back from AEP.
Yeah.
Anything else? Extracurricular Committee?
Just numerous sports stuff, I guess, going on this summer, sports camps, any kind of camps. Probably a new athletic director, we probably should have a meeting maybe before school starts, just to see, once he gets here, if he's got concerns, or something he has to ask us, or things that we need to work on, maybe sit down, maybe late July or August, just see what he has to say. So
We're pretty much squared away for positions for fall sports.
I would say we've been really, really blessed this summer to have highly qualified teacher candidates that we're also able to coach in areas that we needed coaches for. So sometimes that's not the case.
Right.
And I know with 2 of our hires that we've been able to make, we've also been able to fill coaching positions, which is always really nice to have a teacher on staff that's able to fill a coaching position. And that was, we like to do the highly qualified teacher, and it just worked out that way. So we were really, really lucky with those 2 hires.
Excellent. Anything else? Career Center?
We're just working on projects down there, normal summer projects like we do here, but landscaping things that we're changing, and there's some classrooms that we're changing, labs, moving them to make it more efficient for next year when the classes start. And so just, doing things in that area. And then Mr. Price and Mrs. Benzarski are continuing to work on the Northwood project and the Straight A grant. And if everything goes through there, that's going to be a great benefit for everybody.
We have a plan A and a plan B.
Yep.
So if, with or without the grant, we'll be able to make do some great things with Northwood for our students.
Yep.
Policy Committee?
We did not meet. Nothing from policy.
Okay. Moving on, we have no old business, but we need to have a quick executive session. So I need a motion.
And our executive session is for personnel issues.
Yes. Second.
I'll move.
I guess it's it.
Second.
Okay.
Time.
Vote, please. Does we need a vote?
Yes.
Yep.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
7:34.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay, go to new business. Need to approve the written retirement resignation of Tom Iving, bus driver, effective August 1st, 2014. Tom has been with the Kenton City Schools for 32 years. He is requesting severance pay. Motion to accept.
Householder?
McCollum?
In discussion? Vote please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Approve the following substitutes contingent upon proper certification and training and background check and such for 2014-15 school year. Lindsay Payne, substitute education assistant. Kathy Lawrence, the same, and Alyssa Johnston, substitute teacher. Motion to accept.
Brim?
Brim, second.
Blue?
Any discussion? Vote please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes. Approve the following extended service time for the following employees. Brett Fackler, OWE coordinator, is 10 days at a rate of $3,320, and Cheryl Hiller is a vocational home ec, which is 5 days at a rate of $1,800. Mary Ramsey, middle school guidance counselor, is 20 days at a rate of $6,641. Amy Cole, high school guidance counselor, 25 days at a rate of $7,984. Tracy Orions, high school guidance counselor, 20 days at $41.36. Motion to accept.
McCollum?
Householder and McCullough, second. Discussion. Vote please.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Approve the maternity leave FMLA for Chelsea Holsel.
Helsley.
Helsley. Apologize for that. Upon exhausting all sick and personal leave, she is requesting unpaid leave of absence, all running concurrently with FMLA. Expected due date of October 19th, 2014, with time off of 12 weeks. Motion to accept.
Brim?
Second.
Blue?
Blue. Discussion. Vote please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Approve the following substitute van drivers contingent upon proper certification, training, background check for 2014-15 school year. David Clifford, Matt McCullough, Tom McBrayer, and Brad Blue. Motion to accept.
Householder?
Second.
Brim?
Discussion. Russ is going to abstain.
Yeah, I'll be abstaining.
Vote please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Abstain.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
We're going to forego letter F because of mistakes in there and deal with that at another time. So move on to G. Approve the following non-employee supplemental contracts for the 2014-15 school year contingent upon required paperwork. Julie Baird for middle school ball cheerleading, that's $695, and also Julie for winter cheerleading at $1,026. Motion to accept.
Brim? Threw it together.
McCullough. Vote please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes. Approve the following transfer for the 2014-15 school year. Donna Martin from Cafeteria 1 at the high school to Cafeteria 1 at the Kenton Elementary with a probationary period of 15 days starting September 8th, 2014 through September 26th. Motion to accept.
Householder?
McCullough and then Householder. Discussion. Vote please.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Approve the following transfer for the 2014-15 school year. Tammy Legg from Cafeteria 1 at the high school to Cafeteria 1 at the elementary school. Probationary period of 15 days starting September 8th through September 26th, 2014. Motion to accept.
Blue?
Second.
Brim?
Any discussion? Vote please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Approve the following transfer for the 2014-15 school year. Kelly Seiler from Cafeteria 1 at the Kenton Middle School to Cafeteria 1 at the Kenton High School with a probation period of 15 days starting September 29th through October 17th, 2014. Motion to accept.
Brim.
Second? Take your pick. Vote, please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Maybe just to clarify, just for 1 minute, we did add 2 new cafeteria positions based on the fact that we'll be serving out of 3 kitchens next year. And so what's happening are, we're having internal transfers of our staff to different buildings. And so then there will be some openings based on when basically what I call dominoes happens and everyone switches around to where they want to be, and then there will be some openings after everyone gets where they want to, the shuffles happen. So these
Yeah.
are just the shuffling.
These are the shuffles, then we'll
Yeah.
hire some people to fill the holes.
For the positions that are open. I think the positions that are opening up will be actually here at the middle school now, that everyone's moved around. So that's what's happening through these last couple motions.
Okay. Approve maternity leave in FMLA for Catherine Ketchum. Upon exhausting all sick and personal leave, she is requesting unpaid leave of absence, all running concurrently with FMLA. Expected due date of September 29th, 2014, with a time off of 9 weeks. Motion to accept.
Blue.
Second. McCullough. Discussion, vote.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Approve the following salary adjustment for 2014-15 school year for Lauren Clark from bachelor's to master's. Motion to accept.
Brim.
Vote, please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes. Approve the following concrete bid from Mendenhall Contracting. At the high school, take and haul away and repair 116 feet 8 inches of concrete curb and gutter at $3,779.86. The high school and middle school, take out and haul away and repair 901 square feet of sidewalk at $5,612.04. At the middle school, the step repair where the center handrail is attached to the steps, 3 sets of steps for a total of 9 steps repaired at $1,350. In Kent Middle School front columns, the brick repair at a rate of $25 per hour plus cost of materials. Motion to accept.
Brim.
Blue.
Blue. Any discussion?
Mr. President, the last line, I believe in the quote, it was stated $25 per hour per man. Shouldn't that reflect that in this resolution?
Is that a amendment? Sure. So it's been moved to amend the last line to say $25
I mean, that's the way I
per
read it.
hour
It was
per
per
man.
man, so I think you probably ought to say that.
Okay, is there a second for that?
A second. It's more of a
Any
clarification.
discussion about the amendment? Let's vote on the amendment.
Okay. Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Now, the motion as amended with the added per man.
Well, we don't, the
don't.
motion's on the floor.
Motion's on the floor, yeah, okay, no.
Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Trying to mess me up, aren't you?
Working on you.
Thank God for my FFA training.
There you go.
Approve the contract between North Central Ohio ESC and the Kenton City Schools for fiscal year 15 services for the hearing impaired at a rate of $77 per hour. Motion, please.
Also.
Householder. Second.
Brim.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Approve the following resolution. Should I read this? I probably ought to read this because it's somewhat different than our usual. Preserving thorough and efficient provision of the Ohio Constitution, whereas the constitutional provision requiring a General Assembly to secure a thorough and efficient system of common schools has held the state of Ohio to a high standard for over 160 years, and whereas Chad Riedler, Chairman of the Education, Public Institution, and Miscellaneous and Local Government Committee of the Ohio Constitutional Modernization Commission, has proposed to remove the standard of thorough and efficient from the Ohio Constitution, and whereas we believe this would essentially remove any checks and balances that otherwise would be exercised by the judicial branch of the government, be it therefore resolved that the Kenton City Schools strongly opposes the removal of the words thorough and efficient from Article 6, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution and be it further resolved that the thorough and efficient clause be strengthened by adding a provision that each Ohio student shall have the fundamental right to a high-quality educational opportunities, and be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to all members of the 130th General Assembly, the Governor of the State Board of Education, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, members of the Ohio Constitutional Modernization Commission, and other state officials and the media. Motion to accept.
Householder.
Householders, we call a second. Discussion. Where did this come from?
Right.
Give us
And
some
what is this?
background.
Well, these
I
are,
don't really know.
this is a resolution that boards across the state have been passing because there's just a lot of concern with taking the words thorough and efficient out of the Constitution and its effect that it will have on public education. So it's been suggested by the professional organizations such as BASA and that we pass the resolutions and show our support that we want to keep this as part of the Constitution and that it's important to public education so that we ensure that the students have the high quality
So what would be
education.
what would be the negative thing that you would see if it came in? I mean, what do they think would happen?
I think the biggest concern is that the push for the charter and the privatization of schools. I mean, that's what they're really
And then they
concerned
wouldn't be
about.
held to the standards because it wouldn't be required to be thorough and efficient.
Right. They're not held to the same standards that we are.
And I read this too, that thorough and efficient are words that demand a definition, and that's where if there's a big turmoil that it goes to the courts, then those are words that the courts, those are words used in a court battle or a court decision.
To set precedents.
Yeah.
Right. Most districts pass this at their May board meetings. I mean, we're a little behind, but still action hasn't been taken, so.
Do you know the procedure of this Constitutional Modernization Commission? I assume any constitutional change would still have to go to the voters at some point as a package of modernization. Is that, I can't imagine that's any, is that,
And
am I wrong?
a constitutional change requires 2/3, right? It's not a 50-50 vote.
I
In the
would
state of
think
Ohio.
that
Yeah, I
that's
think you're
true.
right. I think you're right. Yes, that's true. I don't know what the commission's charge is, and I don't know if there's been some authority given to them, but
No?
do you know
I don't.
information on
I
that?
don't have the details of how it's passed. I just know that we were all at the regional superintendent's meeting. This was discussed and that if we felt that it was important for public education, that we were to bring it to our boards for approval.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion, comments along that?
But there must be some reason they were taking that out, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the, yeah. We don't have that answer.
It's been fine the way it is, so
Yeah.
we're just saying leave it alone.
Right. Okay, let's vote then.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Approve the following resolution. The resolution adopting a Calamity Day alternative makeup plan, Whereas the Kenton City School District Board of Education desires that students have learning opportunities even when the schools are closed for any of the reasons specified under section 3317.01 of the High Revised Code and in excess of the number of days authorized by section 3313.48. Whereas the section 3313.88 authorizes the Board of Education to file an annual plan with the Ohio Department of Education by August 1st. I'd say September 1st, 2014.
Because we're in the next month now.
Okay. Of each year to provide online learning opportunities for students in lieu of attendance on such days. Now therefore be it and it is hereby resolved that the Kenton City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following plan and authorizes its filing with the Ohio Department of Education. Motion to accept.
Red and blue.
Yes. Discussion?
Just want to bring up a couple things. Since we are not transitioning to hours next year, we have to, well, we have the opportunity to pass the blizzard bag days next year, which means that basically Kenton, since we're staying on days, we would have the traditional 5 calamity days and then the 3 additional blizzard bag days. Now, we have revised our blizzard bag plans because I will be the first to admit that they weren't exactly successful last year. First of all, because they came up a little bit faster than we had hoped for because we had them happen right in a row. But some of the changes that we've made to our policy that we're actually going to do is that our teachers are going to be the ones that are actually going to develop the lessons so that they're aligned to the instruction versus what was going to be our ESC designing an online lesson that might not be directly linked to the classroom instruction. So even though the lesson may still be online, it's going to be designed by the classroom teacher versus someone outside of the district that's aligning it to an area or like to our study island. That may just be a random assessment of what the kids are learning. So hopefully the lesson will be more relevant. The other piece of it that we're going to work on that's part of this is that we're going to make sure that we can get them out faster in advance. So if students want to do their blizzard bags in advance, that they would have that opportunity. Now, we're still working on some of the pieces and some of the vendors, and Robin Mame is huge on making all that happen. So over the August and some of the PD that the teachers have, they'll have opportunities to look at different vendors and what they want to use. But so some of those pieces will be in place. So it's the exact same plan that we've had with the teachers union in the past, but those would be the 2 changes that we want to do to try to make it more beneficial and more user-friendly for our parents and our students, because we know last year it wasn't the easiest. It was the first time we ever had to use it, first of all. We'd had the plan in place for 3 years, but we hope to be more prepared, and maybe we won't even have to use it next year. So, but if we do, we just want a plan that's a little easier to use and more relevant.
Will those lessons change depending on where they're at teaching? Progression of what the date is? I mean, they'll update the lessons as they go along. Is it something they'll develop once for the whole year?
I think the first lesson would be developed kind of in the fall is what Julie was thinking. So they would develop the first lesson and give that out in advance around maybe November, and then hopefully be able to go with the next lesson in the third. But the problem with that logic was we got hit with 2 calamity days in a row, and then we were hurting. But if it's a login where kids can learn how to do it and have that opportunity, I mean, there was some flexibility. But Julie's working that out with all the teacher teams and all the grade levels, and she's going to work through it in August with them. So we'll kind of see how all that plays out. But for me, the most important part of this was that our teachers are designing it, not anyone else. Because me designing it and doing the study island the first day it happened was a nightmare for me, if for no one else, trying to figure out what each grade level was doing that morning. So.
Okay. Any questions? Let's vote.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Approve the amended certificate of estimated resources and the amended appropriations resolution for fiscal year 14. Motion? Colin?
Also.
Second. Discussion? Could you just, this is just
Okay,
a
this
regular
is,
thing
yeah,
we
this
have
is
to do.
so that if we have something that happens, then the resources of the public school can be used in an emergency, like we could have people sleep in the gym, or we could have our buses move around and do those things. That's what this is.
Well, it also gets us in compliance with the requirements. We have to file an annual appropriation resolution, and our resources have to be such that we aren't in a negative position. And so this is getting the information up to date that I have to send to the county auditor.
All right, thank you. Let's vote.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes. Approve the temporary appropriations resolution for fiscal year 2015. Colin, second.
Brim?
Any discussion?
And we have to have this in place or we cannot spend any money in July.
Right.
So.
Take a month off.
I think the staff would be upset
Yeah,
if
I
they
think
didn't
so
have
too.
payroll
We better do
in
this.
July, so.
All right, let's
Yeah.
vote.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Approve Shakely as the Kenton City Schools Workers' Compensation Group rating program for calendar year 2015. The cost for administrative services is $1,078. Motion?
Blue.
Second, please. Discussion? We mentioned that earlier in the Finance Committee report. So have a vote.
Mr. Householder?
I will abstain. We use them at our office.
Okay. Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Can I say something before you adjourn?
You said such a nice thing before, I guess we'll,
When I said 1%, I guess it's 0.5%.
right.
It's a half.
So I was wrong here. So I just wanted to
Right.
bring it to everybody's attention that might be watching. that
Yeah.
It is 0.5% that's different.
All right, yeah, thanks for that clarification. Our next regular Board of Education meeting will be on July 21st at 7 p.m. We also have a special board meeting scheduled for June 27th at 8 a.m. here at the board office. Both of them will be here at the board office. Meeting adjourned.
Music of Katy Perry, it's Dark Horse as 8 o'clock takes off on a Monday, WKTF.
Yeah, y'all know what it is.